Hello everyone. I want to show you how to use your washable glue onto your batik. So at this point you should have your design drawn out lightly in pencil. Hopefully you had a chance to share it with me so I can look at it, because I still want to make sure that you don't have any like too small shapes or not enough shapes or anything, because I want to make sure you try to get that A on the project. But from now on it's basically straightforward. I'm just going to take the glue, put it on here, and then just kind of carefully go around and then retrace all of these lines, like so. So it's important, just like in the regular batik, that you don't have any breaks at all. What that means is that it is completely covered when you do this. Also try to just barely glide across the surface. Like if you noticed, hopefully in this area, I was kind of dragging it a little bit too much. As long as you drag and pull the glue away, you're okay, but you need to have a nice strong bead of glue along that. I know on the first one that I did, when I practiced this technique before I decided to do this for kind of an all virtual one, I had a couple issues where these kind of separated, and I just had to go back in and add more glue. I'll see if I can zoom in this area. See the way it's already kind of pulling apart because it was real thin, and it just kind of pulls this way and that creates that gap. The problem with that area is if this was like a dark blue and this was yellow, that dark blue would seep directly into that yellow and just destroy that yellow and make it like a green. So we usually call those kind of they're called broken dams. So all you have to do is just plug that up, a little more glue, and then you're fine. So I'm going to switch over to time lapse. I'm just going to kind of do a small area here for demonstration, and then we will talk about colors. Thanks. Okay, so I was able to get this part done, and I was hoping maybe you noticed, but I want to kind of go over a little bit more, is I have areas like right here that are awfully thin. So I want to go back in and kind of add, another, piece of glue right there. Right over here, it's real thin. Even when I do a nice line, it still does this, where it kind of bubbles up, and you need to go back in and just add a little bit extra glue where it kind of thinned out right there, to make sure. And you might be wondering, why are you going on the outside? It's kind of the same thing. If this was like a dark blue and this was a yellow, and you just had a piece of glue right here, I know at least with the inks that we use, it'll go in like that, it'll go off to the side and then jump back in again. So you'll have to give yourself a border to really keep that glue kind of in check, or not the glue, but the paint that you use in check. So again, kind of go back through. You do have a bottle of glue that I gave you. It is super important that it does say washable glue, because you have to wash this out when you're all done with it. And if you don't, you use the wrong kind of glue, it's not really going to work out for you very well. So make sure you use the glue bottle I did send, and I was confident that I sent you the right kind of glue, because I had to buy that special because I normally don't use washable glue. So we're going to set this off to the side and let this dry. And next we're going to talk about how we're going to kind of set up our paints. Now the paints that you have, remember, they come in those little containers that you already had from your batik. And what you're going to have to do is that there's kind of two methods on this. The one that I did when I first time experimented with this is I had like a bowl, and I put some of this in there, and I put water in the bowl, and I thinned it out, and then you can have like a scrap piece of paper, or like on the side of these, you have this fabric. You can use that, but you get an idea on how intense you want the color to be. And and then you're ready for it. Now, going back, I would use this, or you could even, if you had a few extra, of these containers that have the lids on them, you could use that just so it doesn't really dry out on you. I shouldn't even say that. It's more that I can take this and then I can shake it. Because the issue that I had when I did my first one is that it was kind of spotchy because I didn't shake it well enough. So I have several of these bottles at school, and I have pill bottles that people kind of donate. These are old film canisters. You probably don't even know what film is anymore. And if you want to stop in, and grab some of these, you're more than welcome to, or, just kind of figure out what you have at your house that you can put paint in and water, and then just something that you can shake, pretty vigorously, and be able to use that. So I'm going to get just 3 colors together. You can use as many as you want, and obviously you can combine colors together. Like if you want a more of a bluish green, you can take your green, add more blue to it, and like that. So I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm going to take care of these and then kind of show you what I got. Thanks. Hello, this demonstration is for the next step on your batik. So right now I have my glue lines that are dried. I didn't do this side, I just kind of mainly focused on that side. I'm going to flip it over, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but I want to make sure that I don't have any lines that are not that are not broken. So you might see where it's globbed together, then it thinned out and globbed together. That might run into a little bit of problem on your design, and it's important you take care of that, even prior to this stage. So take a moment, when you get this all glued down, to make sure, because even like these lines here they were perfect lines, but as it dried, I noticed they started clumping here, then in the middle it got really thin and almost disappeared in some situations. The problem with that is if you have glue along here and then it stops and opens up right here and continues again, and if this is yellow, this is blue, this blue will sink into that yellow and then kind of ruin that and turn that area into this green area. And that is one of the things that I do look for in this design is the craftsmanship of that. So just be aware of that. So I have these bottles that I showed you kind of before, that I have more at school, and you could use whatever you want to, even if you have little containers like this. This is nice having this because I can just take this and shake this back up again. So I have a blue in here. This was a yellow, and I'm going to open this bottle up, just double check. Yep, that was yellow. And I'm going to show you kind of the consistency that I have the best way that I can. So I put a little bit of paint in here, and those paint was from the same acrylic containers you had this in. And then I put water inside of there, and depending on how much water, the paint you have is something you need to kind of figure, but you can kind of see the consistency of this. I'm going for as inky as I can, with this, so it's very fluid-like, and more of like a watercolor, I guess, versus, a paint. So this is like your ink. Now I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to put it on my design. And in some situations you might put this on and then you're going to even take a little bit of water. I have a little bit of clear water right here. Even add a little more water into that because you are going for an ink-like look, or even better yet, or better definition is very watercolory, and then it'll soak in. Now your glue that you have on there ends up being kind of that barrier that doesn't allow that watered down paint or your ink, to be able to kind of go into an area you don't want it to go into. Okay. Now what I'm looking for in terms of grade wise is going in and, I want you to go beyond just this color right here, where it's just a solid color. Part of your grade is to show that you are mixing colors, just like the students, that are doing the other method. So here's my blue. Same thing, I'm going to kind of actually clean this up a little bit, and then I'm going to take some of blue and I'm going to add it into the sides. And kind of like your watercolor, it kind of kind of bleeds all over the place, and as you know, yellow and blue make a green. Now I could use the same thing. I could add white into here, and that's an advantage that you have over the other group. They don't have a white or black, you know, to get a darker color on here, you know. I'm going to go around this whole thing and just kind of outline it in this blue, which ends up being this green. Now you can leave it like that because it will continue to spread, possibly even more than you want it to. So you kind of learn a little bit about how much to actually put on, or you can go back later and just say, well, I wanted this more of a blue here, and you could wait till it's dry and then put another one on there. Clean this up and then do your next cell. You know, here, and whatever design that you have. I'm not gonna do this whole thing. I just want to show you how to take this. You know, just take a little bit of paint, a lot of water, shake it up, so you have some containers that you can use. Otherwise, you just have a little bit of water there with you. Try to make sure you don't overdo it, because if you have a lot of water on that, it can still jump, you know, your line. So you got to be a little careful not to have too much. And usually I can kind of tell what that looks like. So you're gonna get this whole thing done. I might have a little sample, or I might just kind of verbally, you know, kind of explain to you what you do next when you're completely done with the whole project. But this will get you through this next few steps here. Okay. Other than that, you can always stop in. I have a lot of these containers that you can get from me if you want, or even the smaller ones, again, like this, if you want to use that instead. Or again, if you have anything yourself. So other than that, shoot me any emails or questions you might have on that, and I can wish you the best of luck, and I will chat with you later. Thanks.